day, night, rich, poor, feast, famine, rain, sunshine, black, white, flood, drought, and finally, good, evil. Everything that I've just mentioned are two sides of the same coin. To be frank, one can never exist without the other. When I was a little boy in the 1980s, I used to watch a TV show called The Dukes of Hazzard. And the nemesis of the two main characters of that show, Bo and Luke Duke, were Roscoe Pico Train and Boss Hogg. No matter what happened on this show, by the end of the episode, which was an hour, the bad guys, Roscoe Pico Train and Boss Hogg, always lost. They always got their just desserts. I wound up watching a particular episode with my great-grandmother when I was about 7 or 8 years old, and I remarked to her that the bad guy always loses and the good guys always win. And she told me, no, that's not necessarily true. And I told her, of course it's true. We just watched it on TV. Bo and Luke Duke, the good guys, always win. Roscoe Pico Train and Boss Hogg always lose. My great-grandmother went on to tell me that the TV show was there to teach me a lesson, to be a good little boy, and to always do what was right. That the show was essentially teaching me a value, and that good guys didn't necessarily always win, and bad guys didn't always necessarily lose. Now my little brain is completely and thoroughly confused at this point. And I went on to tell my great-grandmother, well, that's not fair. And my great-grandmother told me, life is not fair, and that there is good and evil in the world, and that things will not necessarily always be equal or fair. She said, that's just how it is. I'll never forget the emphasis that she put on the word is. I learned a very valuable lesson that day because the blinders were taken off of my eyes that day, and I started to see the world as it truly was, or is. I said all of that to say, creation is. It is good and bad. Up, down, left, right, you name any dichotomy, creation is that. When I use the metaphor, speaking about the soil of creation, I don't care what seeds you drop into that soil. You can drop Mother Teresa into that soil, or you can drop Adolf Hitler into that soil. That soil is going to cultivate and blossom whatever it receives, no matter if it's good or evil. That is the rub that I think a lot of people in this community will not and cannot accept. The Holy Book says, God says, I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. All the Holy Books speak of the love of God. They also speak of the wrath of God. All of this is creation. Don't let all of the people in this particular space, be it law of assumption or law of attraction, fool you into thinking that creation is only good. It is not, and that is a lie. Before being introduced to the teachings of Neville Goddard and the law of assumption, I went around like an idiot, like a fool, thinking that I could only create things in my life if I was positive and if I only thought good thoughts. For many years, I thought I could only create in the experience of myself and not in the experience of others, which is also a myth. You can create good things in your own experience, bad things in your own experience, good in other people's experience, and bad in other people's experience. Again, that's the rub nobody wants to accept. Creation simply is whatever you make it to be. Am I telling you to go out and slap little babies and old people? Of course not. But believe you me, there is some person who will. Not only will they do it, in many instances, they'll get away with it. There is no karma or equalizer in the sky, making note of the good or the evil of this world and rewarding or punishing it accordingly. It is up to us to execute our godhood in whatever way we want to. Who am I to say that a person should not go out and harm someone that's wronged them? I can't say that they shouldn't do that. It's really none of my business, and it's none of your business. Then you have people who go out and do the best for everyone, no matter how many times they get fucked over by people. Is it my job to go out and point out to them how stupid they are? For forgiving and kissing the asses of people who literally kicked them in their own ass? I realize that this is a very unpopular opinion, an unpopular topic, but I felt like it needed to be said. I've touched on it a few times before in other videos. I even vacillated back and forth on even making this video because I just felt like, how are listeners going to digest this information? What are they going to think? It's one thing to realize something, but something else entirely to accept it. No, I certainly say go out into this world and be a blessing to yourself and to others as much as you possibly can. But I also say there are times that you need to go out into this world and curse a few people. That is the reality of life, and that is also the reality of creation. And you can put a period behind that. As always, in closing, thank you so much for your support. Thanks for all of your comments. Want to say hello and thank you to all of my new subscribers, and of course, hello to all of my older subscribers. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And until next time, bye everybody.